Okay, so hi everyone. In this video, we're going to be learning how to solve linear inequalities. So there's a few on here that I'm gonna do, and there's a few things to remember. So number one, well, actually, one thing to remember: when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you flip the sign over. So let's see if I can make up one for so if I have, for example, if I have negative 10n minus 6, let's see, so let me think. Negative 10 is less than 8. Can say, or if I say, give me a second, if I say, I'll just say it's less than 8. So negative 10n minus 6 is less than 8. So what you do it like a linear equation. You add on each side. So you have 14 is less than negative 10n. And this is the part where you have to pay attention. So you divide by negative 10 on each side. But what you do is when you take this out, you say n is greater than negative 14 over 10. And that's equal to, so it's n is greater than, greater than negative 2 times 7 over 2 times 5. And that's basically, n is greater than negative 7 over 5. So that's your answer. So remember that when you divide by a negative number or multiply by a negative number, you flip the sign over. And that's basically what a lot of people, when they do these, they forget to flip the sign over. So let's do the first one. So it says 10 times negative 6 plus n. So we have 10 times negative 6 plus n is greater than negative 150. So what you do is you do distributive property. You have negative 60n, or negative 60 plus 10n is greater than negative 150. And what you do is you add by 60 on each side, and you say, let's see, so it would be, it's like saying 150 minus 60. So would be negative 90, since the negative number is greater, or is less than, like it would be bigger, so you would have negative 90 is greater, or 10n is greater than negative 90. And since we're not really dividing by any negative number here, we just say n is greater than negative 9. Now if this were negative, this number were negative, it would have flipped over, but it's not. So this one would be n is greater than negative 9. And then this one, you would have 6 is less than 3 times 8 plus m. So what you do is you go ahead and you do distributive property, and you say 6 is less than 24 plus 3m, and you go ahead and subtract by 24 on each side, and you say, so it's 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, so it's negative 18 is less than 3m, and you would say divided by 3, you would say negative 6 is less than m, and you have to flip that over, so you would say that m is greater than negative 6. And then this one is a little bit more tricky, but what you do is let's copy it down, so 2x plus 4 times 5x minus 3 is greater than 5 times 4x plus 4. Yeah. So you would say 2x plus, and you would do this. Plus 20x minus 12 is greater than 20x plus 20. So then you combine like terms, you say 22x minus 12 is greater than 20x minus plus 20. So then you say you can subtract by 20x on each side to make it easier and to not have any negatives. So you say 2x minus 12 equals, or is greater than 20. So then you add by 12 on each side and get 2x is greater than 32. And then you go ahead and divide. You say x is greater than 16. So this one would be x is greater than 16. And I didn't put the other one. This one is going to be m is greater than negative 6. Okay, so this one talks about graphing or solving inequalities and then graphing them on the real number line. So what you do is you go ahead and, so this one you have 5 is less than r plus 9 over negative 5, or over 5, my bad. Sorry. What you do is you have to make sure that you multiply by 5 to get rid of this fraction right here, and you have 25 is less than r plus 9, and you go ahead and subtract by 9 on each side, leaving you with 16 is less than r. And you again flip it over. So this is talking about r is greater than 16. And like on the last video when I said graphing inequalities, I said, you go ahead and you do the open circle, and you're talking about all the real numbers that are greater than 16, so you shade to the right. And then you have this one, you have 9n minus 1, or negative 1 plus 9n. It's greater than or less than or equal to negative 154. My bad. And what you do is you go ahead and you add by 1 on each side and say negative 153 is less than or equal to 9n. And then you divide by 9. And that would be, let me see. So that would be n is less than or equal to negative 17. So you would do a dot on 17, and you're talking about all real numbers that are less than or equal to negative 17. So you would shade to the left. And then this one we have 3 times 6a times 6a minus 8, my bad. So it's 3, let me make sure, 3 times 6a minus 8 is less than or equal to, my bad, is greater than or equal to 48. Sorry. So it's greater than or equal to 48. So you would say 18a minus 24 is greater than or equal to 48. Say plus 24 on each side. So 18a is greater than or equal to 72. And then you would say and if you can't use a calculator for these, I doubt that they'll, if on a test they're like, oh, you can't use a calculator for these, what I like to do is, if you don't know how to divide, you would say, well, what makes up 72, so it's 9 times 8 over 9 times 2. So this one would be, so you would cross that out, and then you would say a is less than 8 over 2, or greater than 8 over 2, and then you would say a is greater than 4. So you would say, so that's your answer, a is greater than 4. So it would be, give me a second, greater than or equal to 4, my bad. So it'd be a is greater than or equal to 4. So you would do a dot right here, and then you would say greater than or equal to 4. Okay, so this one is a little bit more trickier, but again, you have to do it step by step. So you would say 63 is less than is less than 4p minus 3 times negative 4p minus 5. One thing that you have to know is that when you have, let's say you have ax plus b times cx plus d, that is not the same as ax plus b times times cx plus d, because when it doesn't have a parentheses, that means that only this part is being distributed. Only the b is being distributed. When you have this, that means that you're doing this, you're doing the FOIL method, but we'll learn more about the FOIL method later. But that's just basically, a lot of people, like, they think that, oh, you know, I'm pretty sure that some people think that this whole thing is multiplied by this, but it's really not. It's just this part. So that's one thing to watch out for. So you say 63 is less than 4p plus 12p plus 15, and then you combine your like terms. So you say 63 is less than 4p, or sorry, 16p plus 15, and then you subtract by 6, or actually no, you subtract by 15 on each side, and then you say 48 is less than 16p, and then you divide by 16, and you say that 3 is less than p, and again, you have to flip it over. So you say p is greater than 3. And then you do an open circle at 3, and then you go ahead and you're talking about all real numbers that are greater than p, so you shade to the right. Let me try to do one that has I'll try to do one more that has variables on both sides. So let me see. So you have, let's do this one. So it says, oops. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so it says 5v minus v. So you have 5v minus v is greater than negative 3, so times v minus 2 times 3v plus 3. So what you have to do first is you have to make sure that you combine these like terms. So this is 4v is greater than, and you do your distributive property, negative 3v plus 6. And remember when I said that this is equal to 3 times x plus 3 times negative 2. So it would be 3x plus negative 6. And then you would say 3x minus 6. So remember, keep that in mind when you're doing these. It's like doing linear equations. I think I covered that in linear equations, but I can't remember. So you do distributive property, and then you say minus 6v minus 6, my bad. Minus 6. So then you have 4v is greater than negative 3v minus 6v, and these two cancel out. 4v is greater than negative 9v, and then, give me a second, so I am thinking that what you do for this one, you have to, you have to add by 9v. And for those who are more skilled in math, like if I'm making a mistake, please let me know. Or if the answer is wrong, please let me know. Or actually I'll check at the end. But you have so it's gonna be v is greater than 0. So it would be v is greater than 0, and then you would go ahead and do an open circle, and you would shade all the real numbers that are greater than 0. So yeah, I only did a few of them. Let me just make sure that give me a second, this was number 41. So let me just make sure that I did it right, because I know that this one's kind of tricky. Yeah, so it would be, yes, it would be v is greater than 0. So I hope this helps in a way. I only did a few of them because apparently a lot of them are similar. It's the same method, but I hope this helps in a way, and I hope that you get something out of this. And I think in the next video we're going to be learning how to graph linear inequalities on the real number line, or on the xy coordinate plane. So I hope this helps, and I hope that